Welcome to this conversation with the Morning Tea Marketing Misses, where we offer valuable tips to small business owners and sole traders to help them improve online presence and really how they communicate with their clients and with the world and how they stand out. Our hosts are, as usual, Narelle Gaddy, who's Accessibility Auditor. There's myself. I help people build their own personal brand authority. We have Lara, who is our Business Awards Coach, and Jan Roesch has BizConnect Web Designs and Over 50s Help. But that's not important about Jan. What's important about Jan is she is a world champion. And Jan's going to be we're talking meetings today, and it might not seem it's a really, interesting topic, but once you, there'll be 4 conversations about different types of meetings, and Jan's going to be covering team meetings today because they can either go really well or really badly. But I want Jan to tell us about what she has just won when we're talking about world champion. Congratulations, Jan, and hi, ladies.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, Janine, I got goosebumps just then because I haven't absorbed it yet, I don't think, because I got really sick. So it's been 2 weeks now since I had the competition, and got really sick. So I was kind of out of action for a little bit. So today's literally the first day I've gone back to the gym to do some training for myself, just doing some light stuff, and it felt like a full-on cardio session because I've been sick and had 2 weeks off. But so yes, my chosen sport is powerlifting, and I competed at the Powerlifting Australia National Championships. I was given 5 weeks notice, so I had 4 weeks prep, and I hadn't competed for 4.5 years. So yeah, I got in there and did it quick and hard. So the whole intention was to compete, do a good total to qualify for World Championships, which the Nationals is a world qualifier for Worlds. But I am competitive. I am a show-off.
Really?
When I get on that platform, and the adrenaline, and it's a massive event. Like, there was over 2 days, 100 athletes competing over the 2 days. My husband actually stepped up and worked with me as my handler and coach. So a handler helps you to do your warm-ups and helps you to work through your run sheet, for want of a better word, for your day, for your plan for your day. But I also had the privilege of working with super coach. His name is Simon Bergner. Now, if anyone watches the powerlifting in the Olympics, you will see Simon Bergner is our Australian coach. Okay. So yeah, my really good friend Hani Watson is an Australian athlete. She's a powerlifter, and she is an Olympian at these Olympics. So they don't go until September. But anyway, so Simon was my coach for the day. Absolutely brilliant. I had done my homework before, ahead of time, so I knew all of the possible records. I knew what my warm-ups were, what my intention was, like what lifts I wanted to do. And because I had such a short prep, the intention was to just go in and do a good total to qualify. Well, it turns out that what I did at that comp was what I was going to do at Worlds. So I walked away with 4 Australian records, 4 Oceania records, and 2 world records.
Yay.
And wow, gold medal for my age group and silver medal for my weight class. So there you go. Amazing. So I think I consider that it was a successful competition. and I've officially received my my notification email to confirm that I am in the Australian team.
That is just amazing. So proud of you. When do the Worlds on, Jan?
So that is 11th through to 13th of October, and it's at the Sydney Oz Fitness Expo. So it is an international event. So there's going to be athletes from all, like there's China and Pakistan, there's, all over the place, countries I've never even heard of. And it's quite the event. And so people have to apply to be accepted on the team. So yeah, I'm very privileged to have been accepted in the team already. So Yeah, so quite good. And it was funny because the CEO of World Powerlifting and Powerlifting Australia was just messing with my head. You know, here I was, I've just taken 2 world records and all that kind of stuff and did a pretty good total. And he says, oh, well, you're still not guaranteed that you're on the team. I'm like, oh, what else do you have to do? He was just messing with me. So, yeah, anyway.
That sort
so
of
that
leads
was,
into our topic of
Yeah.
communication and meetings and teams,
Yes.
doesn't it? Because
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's we're watching the Olympics at the moment. There
Mhm.
is that's all about individuals, but on a team. And I know you have a team that works for you that you meet with regularly.
Yep. So the team that I have for BizConnect Web Design, we have 3 of us that work in the office, occasionally one that lives further away. She does come down occasionally and works from the office when she's down this way. But otherwise, the team that doesn't come into the office works remotely. So a couple of the team members used to live locally, but now, you know, through COVID, after COVID, whatever, they kind of moved away a little bit. So, you know, they're about 2 or 3 hours away. So we don't expect that they will make it into the office each day. And so what we do, and we actually have one guy who is in Canada now. So once a week, we have a Zoom meeting, our team meeting once a week. So what we do is we have a specific schedule that we stick to. So everybody can prepare ahead of time. So when these tasks that have been assigned, everybody knows ahead of time, you know, what their tasks. And it really is, you know, I can't do that job until that job's been done. That's someone else's responsibility, and so on and so on and so on. So we're all reliant on each other to stick to those tasks. The great thing is we use Asana. So we have our Zoom meeting and we record that and we use Asana. So that's really great for project management. And so in that, we have a permanent, like a template of our meetings. So we list everything. And some of the things that we go through are, we have what's called a whiffle first. Now, we were introduced to this by our business coach. And so we start off with a whiffle, which is an acronym for what I feel like expressing.
Yeah.
And so, so that's really fantastic. So we go through that, and that's like whoever, if it's my turn for my whiffle, no one else talks. It's just I get to express what's going on for me. It doesn't have to be anything to do with work. It could be, I mean, you know, my team's been hearing a lot from me about my lifting of late. So, and then, you know, we all just get our turn. And then from that, we cover what is our burnings. So burnings could be anything to do with you've done something that ticked me off, or I'm needing some help with something. Right? So it might not be anything that anyone else has done, just because the word burnings makes it sound like, you know, there's an issue. So it's not that at all. And it could be a burning that has just come up from someone's whiffle. Could be something like that. And the other thing that we do make sure that
on the burnings, what if someone's got a problem with somebody? How do you deal with it?
Well, look, we haven't actually had anybody have a problem with anybody else, because we do have open communication. We have had, and because it's been going for some time, our team knows that if they do have an issue, they talk to each other about it. So things don't become, we also encourage the team to be tactful and not rude or disrespectful when they're speaking with each other. So that's great. So some of our team will come to me and say, oh, look, I've noticed this and this person is doing that. And so they're not quite doing their job properly. So then that person, if they have an issue, I want them to come to me with what they see as a solution. So I don't want to just hear the, I want to hear, okay, so we know that that's going on. How do we fix it? So straight away, it's not really so much of an issue because we've got a solution all ready to go. So even just quite recently, we had that happen. So in the long run, it turned out to be absolutely brilliant. It was a really fantastic teaching opportunity where the whole team was able to learn something new because one of the team members had to do some research on understanding how they were supposed to be doing this job properly. So it was really fantastic, worked out really well. The other thing that we do is we make sure that if anyone is suffering with some kind of mental pressure, or they're not coping with something, or whatever it might be, then they know that they can talk to any one of us in the team and they can expect support. So we do have we have a counsellor who is right there. Right, she actually is in my office, next door to my office. So whenever there is somebody that is needing to talk to somebody like a counsellor, we have that available for our team. And I very often mention that just to remind them, if you need to talk to someone and you don't feel as though you can talk to anyone else in the team, then we've got that there for you. Yeah,
Incredibly
so that's
wonderful.
it. Absolutely, yeah. And so then after the burnings, we then go through what we reflect on our previous week. So we look at what was our greatest achievement, what's the next bit we do? Greatest achievement. We talk about what we learned, those kinds of things. So some over the last few weeks, I've been more like, okay, my greatest achievement was getting through the week, or just little things that it may not even be, it may not even be anything to do with the job. So it may even just be, sometimes people are going through things where their whole life, they're just consumed with what's going on with them because it's too big a mountain or something, whatever it might be. And, there's a lot of times where some of the team will actually talk about progress that they've made on a project that they're working on for BizConnect or whatever it might be. But we leave it open so that they can talk about whatever it is that they need to talk about. Cool. Yeah, so that's that. And then from there, we go into tasks that have carried over from previous week. And then we talk about new tasks that have come up from, we have updates on client projects or new work that is coming in and those kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, the team is just so fantastic and they work so well together. Pat and I are going away next week for 15 days to Port Douglas, and I have every faith that I can go away and not work the whole time I'm away. How I know that is last year we went away and it was the first time ever that I didn't work while I was away.
Wow.
So lovely. I am so looking forward to that.
That's amazing.
And
I think that's a good lesson for every business owners. How can they achieve that?
Yeah.
And Jan, this meeting that, like, the way you've set up the meeting, because you've built into that meeting that trust factor and the respect for each other and things, that means people do work together well, and that worry is taken off you. Do you think the meeting starts that process?
Maybe, but I have spoken in the past about, like, with my sport and having my team of trainers and nutrition coach and whatever else, whatever kind of coach that I have in my team, everybody has a role and everybody has their tasks to achieve. And so one thing can't be completed unless that other person has done what they need to do for something else to happen, right? So I apply that to my business. So I have a team member that specifically takes care of a role. So there's no blurred lines, there's no, shared responsibility is no responsibility. We don't have any of that. And it is open that if somebody needs support or help, you can put up your hand and say, I really can't get this thing achieved. I need some help. And any one of the team that is capable of taking on that task, they put up their hand to help. Okay. And quite often, again, over the last, couple of months with me in particular, because I've had have to have such a narrow focus with my powerlifting that I know that I can rely on my team to take over where I need some assistance. So again, with business, I apply the same principles and the same mindset as I do with being an elite athlete, right? So, and you just have to. And I always, Janine, you mentioned some time ago that your being organized gives you flexibility, and that every day almost I'm thinking about that, and that is something that is a life lesson for me. And so I just pass. Oh, look, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I've been a wife twice. So, you know, if I can't pass on some things that I have learnt through my life experience, then, you know, there's been a bit of a waste of, you know, part of my life. But I don't see that. I just keep pouring it in, and I am very focused, and I know what I want achieved, and I will gently persuade where needed. I don't become the horrible boss. In fact, you know, very tactful, and just think about what I am saying to somebody, how that is going to land with them. And one really big thing that I remember from the competition a couple of weekends ago, Simon, I was doing bench press, and my second lift, I was red lighted. So you've got 3 refs, you have to achieve at least 2 white lights for it to be a good lift. Well, I had the 2 side refs red lighted me for my bench press, saying that I lifted my butt off the bench. Never have I ever been red lighted for my bench press. And when I look back the video, no, there's no way that I lifted my butt. But anyway, they're young and obviously not experienced enough with what they're doing, and it's a common thing. But anyway, so the actual rule is any part of the buttocks, if it's if it's touching the bench, it's a good lift. But in their mind, they're thinking, I probably didn't have enough of the butt touching the bench, which is not correct, right? So anyway, so what happened was, when we went back out the back after, because I got up going, what, you red lighted me? That's literally how I reacted. Anyway, when we got out the back, Simon only wanted to focus on the positive of that lift, whereas Pat's like, no, you must have lifted your butt, I saw some movement. And Simon's like, and it was the reaction was just amazing. He just turned around right in front of Pat's face and just said, when coaching, you do not want to bring up the failure. Like in a competition, you don't want to harp on the failure and what went wrong. You know what that was. You work on that later and you train that later. But right now, you need that athlete to be right up here mentally all the time. So it's just reinforcing the positive, and that's it.
And that's exactly
something.
The same with business, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a great.
That was something that's a big lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so with my team with BizConnect, I just make sure that the positives are pointed out, especially in a group arena. You don't want to be making somebody feel small by pointing out a shortcoming in front of everybody.
Lara, have you got any questions for Jan? I know this is a topic that you're really enthusiastic about.
I just love it, and you know, and I really appreciate and respect the value in it, because it's one of the things that I know is true for anyone who's in any competition, business awards competition, especially, as well as you know, sports competitions as well, and it comes down to mindset, and the truth is that you only want to focus on what you want, and that also is in our language as well. So when we talk about, you know, what we're looking forward to or what's going on, just talk about the stuff that you want. Don't talk about the stuff that you don't want, right? Because inadvertently there's going to be stuff around that we don't necessarily want anyway, but we have to really just push that aside, you know, or bracket it, whatever it is, and then just come back and focus on what we want. It's a bit like, you know, the rocket ship, it's going to the moon. Yes, it's going to go this way, that way, this, but we just keep bringing it back to, you know, where we want it to go. Focus on what you want.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
absolutely.
Narelle, have you got any other comments or questions for Jan on this topic of meetings? I know we're going to be covering it all months.
This is our best conversation we've had in what year? 18 months. Well done, Jan.
Do you think?
It's because we've got a world champion in the group now.
That's it. That's where it goes.
Sorry, Kate. We miss you, Kate. No,
Oh.
but serious. I actually found the structure and like where you talk about the burnings and where you like the
Yeah.
flow of the meeting. I found that really interesting because I, you know, the whiffle I hadn't heard of.
Yeah.
Terming it the burnings, I hadn't heard of that. But the immediate thing that went to my mind was exactly like you, Janine. Well, you know, when you've got someone that has a disagreement with someone else, how do you handle that? But you answered it straight away without, so I found that really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to add one more thing.
Oh, sorry, I was just being mindful of the time.
Oh, sorry, is that it? If we're out, that's fine.
Well, we can, for the next conversation, people are just going to have to join us next week.
Yes,
for the next conversation, Lara, and you're going to be talking about teams as well, and we'll add it in then.
Sure.
So there's no getting out of it. If there was something you thought, I wonder what Lara was going to say or ask,
Come back.
to the next episode. Thank you so much.
Can't wait till next week.
Wait.
Just wear the gold medal, Jan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. And that's another conversation with the Morning Tea Marketing Misses. So glad that you could join us. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment as to anything that jumped out at you that you've found that you've been thoughtful or you've enjoyed, or any other comments that you like.
Yeah.
We look forward to you joining us next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.